was like 22 grand. And then they called back and they love the quote so much. They're like, actually, we're going to just have you guys do the rest of this. We're going to increase the scope. We want you guys to handle this. And, upwards of 30K at Luke Air Force Base. So that was absolutely wild to kind of see some of those parallels kind of come into.
This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork. It's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by Exitwise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what Exitwise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by David McKernan, who's a friend of mine from Dan Martell's elite coaching community. And Dan was just telling me a bit about his company, but it looks like they are on a hot streak. They are growing like crazy. And I haven't had a lot of people in this space on the show, so I'm excited to dive into it with him. David, tell us a little bit about LT Solutions, what you guys do, and tell us about how you kind of got where we are today.
Sure. So Limitless Technical Solutions is my company. I'm one of the founders, and we started back in 2017. And we're an MSP today. And it all started off with essentially I had left a gig, and a couple clients had reached out and said, hey, well, we want you to continue to do our IT. And it started off with, just hourly services, billed monthly, a couple $100 here and a couple $100 there. And it's it gets a little more interesting than that as things kind of go along. But that's essentially kind of how we got started. But it's been quite a journey to get to where we're at today. So
super cool. Well, so you said you guys are going pretty fast. What's contributing to the growth? Is it just kind of the way the industry is shaping up? Has there been a big client that you've landed? Give us some deets.
Sure. Yeah. So, and I'm going to give a little backstory here because
Yeah, sure.
get a little context.
Yeah.
Back at that same company that I worked for, I worked underneath and with a good friend of mine. He's a little older than I am, but he kind of showed me some of the ropes as far as some of how he moved through the business that we were in then. It was also an IT company,
Mm-hmm.
local MSP, if you will, for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
customers, but more break fix support oriented. And I'm going to notate that because that's kind of one of the things where I wanted to shift in the industry was
Mm-hmm.
break fix. So I'm just going to put a pin in that. But I worked with him probably every day for like, gosh, a year and a half. And I learned just an incredible amount of information from him. Fast forward to probably 2021 ish. I had grown to a point where I was like really looking to onboard and get some help because I was kind of a solopreneur up until that point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I started kind of fishing for him like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? What's new for you? What's going on in your life? Because I wanted to know where he was at and what he was doing. I'm like, he could be just an incredible asset to my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had started his own business. He had another partner, and he was like, "Yeah, we were doing all right," stuff like that. I just kind of kept a pulse on him for 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Every 6 months, just kind of, "Hey, man, let's check in. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's new."
Yeah.
And fast forward all the way to 2025, probably around September time, and he calls me up one day, and he's like, "Hey, I decided that I am not cut from the same cloth, and I really don't want to run a business in that capacity." He's like, I have all these clients. I would absolutely love to come work for you and your organization and
Mm-hmm.
join forces, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really exciting because it was like, wow, talk about practicing visualization and thinking about something years ago and
Yeah.
not even realizing that it was going to lead up to something like that. So
Yeah.
it was totally caught me kind of by surprise. Wasn't even really thinking about it, but it's been incredible. So to circle back to your question, that merger happened earlier this year, and the growth rate has been unprecedented. It's been absolutely wild, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot to handle. So a lot of painful things kind of coming to the surface that I'm having to work through, even on a personal level, to kind of translate that into the business world, so to
Yeah.
speak. So, but it's been super exciting, and it's been a great opportunity thus far. So,
What are typically the scope of what you guys actually do for your clients? So let's say a client hires you, like what are you what's your service that you're actually implementing?
so we start off. We have a couple different service levels, and the base minimum to work with us, we have basically a requirement for is our security services. That's non-negotiable. One of the biggest problems that I feel like we see, especially in the small business world, is you've got Kathy or whatever, and she's done all the IT for them to this point, but doesn't really know about IT. Their security is non-existent. I mean, things are pretty much just wide open, and they're like one email away from total catastrophe. And
Yeah.
after seeing that enough times, we were like, okay, this has got to be our baseline. So our minimum is like, hey, this is our security package. Here's the services that we provide as far as security goes in order to keep your environment secure. So that's kind of the first step. The second step is offering our managed service package. And that's going to include essentially like a full service IT team. So during normal
Hmm.
business hours, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, we kind of negotiate and we figure out pricing and what our customers' needs are once we're kind of through the negotiation process, so to speak. And we basically are like your full-time IT staff. So we come in, we do an evaluation, we see where you guys are at, where what your infrastructure looks like, kind of get everything mapped out, and we help develop a roadmap for you guys or for our customers, I should say, to help them be able to scale at level so that the IT aspect isn't a hindrance for growth moving forward. So that's kind of the other level. And then we also have it's kind of a newer product, and we're rolling it out, but it's like fractional CTO um, that we actually do for some of our larger clients. And coming in, and again, it's kind of the same thing where they're not necessarily ready for a full-time CTO, IT director, type level, but they might have like a help desk person, somebody that's there to help them actively with issues on a daily basis. And we come in and we basically curate and have this program that we implement to help them build and lay out the infrastructure for that growth as well. So that's another product offering that we recently rolled out. So
What are some things, David, right now that are going really well with your business, and what are some challenges you're trying to overcome?
ooh, that's a loaded question. Um, I am the biggest challenge that my business is trying to overcome. Being completely transparent, I am definitely the bottleneck. I know that you and I are friends through the Dan Martell's Elite program, and kind of working through that has been really eye opening for me to see how much of the bottleneck I really am when it comes to some of the things that are holding us back. And with this tremendous opportunity for growth, and taking a moment to just self reflect, it's completely evident that hey, I gotta take a step back. I need to kind of go inward. I need to resolve some things
Yeah,
um, on a personal level that are going to ripple outward into the business, so to speak, at least for its growth. So
yeah,
um, I'll get specific processes. It's going from being like a solopreneur where I'm just used to doing everything.
yeah,
I'm doing the billing, I'm doing the ticketing, I'm doing the sales, I'm doing the marketing. I mean, we know how entrepreneurship goes. So
yeah,
it's some of the pain points that you grow through. And over the past couple years, learning how to delegate tasks has been a pretty big challenge for me. And I've gotten a lot better
yeah,
at it. But so my team members taking on more and really trusting in them and believing that, hey, they can do this,
yeah,
and learning to really just say, hey, take a step back, evaluate, and be like, hey,
yeah,
is what I'm doing right now in alignment with our goal, or is this going to
yeah,
take away from it? Um,
yeah,
the buyback principle is huge, obviously, in our community. So, I mean, honestly, that's kind of where things are at right now. I'm still in this phase of like data dumping. I'm getting all the chaos out. I'm putting it out there so I can see it, so I can label it, and so that I can start working through it.
yeah,
Um, and just to note, in the past 16 days that I have been an active participant in the 5 daily non-negotiables and part of the Martell mindset, so to speak,
yeah,
has been pretty eye-opening, and I'm happy to share that with you. But I'll kind of go back and jump back into some of the things that are going well on that business side, and I'd love to circle back on that. But what is going well is completely unanticipated. We're word of mouth. We've spread word of mouth. Really, marketing, sales is pretty much all done by myself or any one of my other guys that are out in the field as far as closing deals. So again, kind of putting systems together for those things are definitely important. But the growth by word of mouth has been absolutely wild. So that's going really, really well for us. Kind of helps create a stable platform for me to be able to take that step back necessary and look at things and move forward progressively with some of these new things that I've been learning and acquiring from the elite coaching program. So um, that's kind of where we're at there, and I'm happy to share a little snippet of kind of where the past 16 days have gone in
yeah.
terms
Sure,
of
go
that.
for it. I love hearing about the Dan Martell stuff.
Yeah, it's been
Oh, we're talking
it's
about your time and energy audit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so this and it's all compounding. It's absolutely wild where this has gone. And I'm just going to kind of pull this up here. So
It's interesting because one of the things I love and appreciate, first of all, the fact that he coaches like 400 people at a time is wild to me. You know, you hop in those coaching calls, you feel like he's only talking to you. And then,
yeah,
dude, I'm afraid to speak up, honestly, because I've seen him crush some people. And like there was one guy, basically he was like, he basically popped on the coaching call with Dan Martell, and he was like, Dan, I'm having a hard time getting this, idea off the ground and getting my first customer. And he was like, how long have you been in this coaching program? And he was like, about 6 months. And he's like, you've been in this coaching program 6 months and you haven't landed your first client. And he like tore into the guy, and he's like, don't come back to another call until you've landed a client. And I was like, oh my gosh. It made me want to like cover up,
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Sometimes I think that tough love is some of what we need, and we're
Yeah.
our hardest. At least for me, what's true for me is that I'm my harshest critic, and I'm like so hard on myself pretty regularly, and I'm that's one of the inner things I'm working on actually is learning to give myself a little bit more grace and this reflection on the past 16 days, and this is actually a post that I'm going to read that I literally posted on in the community. So 16 days ago, I was drowning, post merger chaos, $35 to $40,000 uncollected, no executive assistant, no systems, no documented processes or anything really. Running two companies, just entirely on mental RAM. I'm working 12 to 14-hour days, and I'm still falling behind. I was anxious about money, anxious about who I even was without a title. Really kind of wondering if walking away from like a CTO seat was a mistake I wouldn't be able to recover from. There's a little bit of a story there. My garage looked exactly like my business. It was destroyed. I mean, it's and this is relevant later on, you'll see, but it was a total mess. It's part of my like chaos mindset and how I actually have thrived and grown in chaos to where I am today, but seeing how that's actually something that's preventing me from moving forward. So, and that was 16 days ago. And this is what's so crazy is really diving headfirst into that Martell method mindset. And I actually leverage his AI app, Dan AI. It's absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend it. Definitely if you're looking to try to get the jump start on
Yeah.
things, because there is so much information. It's a plethora of
Yeah.
information, and it's so much to digest that it can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's been a huge help for me and a guiding step for being able to kind of move through that. Um, so here's what happened since I joined Elite, kind of have employed the Martell mindset, Dan AI, etc., an active member of the community. First thing was I hired an EA. I had a buddy of mine, gosh, probably 2 months ago. He reached out. He's a commercial airline pilot, and he is in a period where he's not flying right now for some specific reasons. But he came to me and was like, "Hey, man, I am bored out of my mind. I'm looking for something to do, and if you have anything, cue me in. Like I'm ready to jump in." And I wasn't quite to that point yet, a couple months ago, obviously. So I was like, "Hey, yeah, if something comes up, I'll throw it your way." And I kept on just operating in my chaos model. But long story short, I hired him as my EA because I'm like, wait, this guy's perfect. He is a systems thinker, zero hand holding required. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy gets shit done. And he was my CFI. So I'm actually a pilot as well. And he was my CFI. So
Hmm.
we probably spent, gosh, we flew freaking everywhere together when I was flying. I
Hmm.
probably accumulated 500 hours um, just kind of in tandem with him, just tag teaming on different things through the course of my aviation journey. So you sit in a small plane with somebody for that long and you get to know him pretty well. So he's like a brother to me. Total trust there as well. And I know that he's going back, but I was like, wait a minute, I can have him come in and I can have him help lay the foundation and the framework for the CA position so that we basically have all the documentation ready for when that next person comes in and it's just seamless and ready to go. So that was an
Yeah.
amazing thing that kind of happened, and impromptu as well.
Yeah.
Uh, since then, he's been building the SOPs. He got my email inbox under control, and he's putting fires out, before they're even really starting, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So that in and of itself has been a huge game changer for me.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I didn't really even understand how much of an impact that was going to have, because you're like, oh, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and you realize how many times you say that through the course of a day, and how many balls you drop, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm dropping more balls than I'm catching at this point. So that's kind of a problem.
Hmm.
So amazing that I got pushed that direction, and I took that first leap and I just did it.
I love
Um,
that.
we rebuilt the entire email infrastructure of how we're doing things. We're leveraging an app called Superhuman. If you haven't
Yeah.
heard of it, it's amazing. You should definitely look into it. It has helped out tremendously from an organization standpoint and streamlining standpoint. It's just great not to freak out when you log into an email and see that you got 1,300 freaking spam emails from the day before or whatever. So absolutely fantastic there. Um, we got dedicated billing email address set up, EA access protocols all set, kind of built in play, ready to go. So that's been fantastic. Um, this is kind of a huge one for me, and it comes full circle. When I was a kid, I probably 3 years old, my grandfather would take me out to Luke Air Force Base here in Arizona,
Hmm.
and we would sit on the end of the runway on the railroad tracks, and we'd watch the F-16s take off. Like hugely impactful moment in my life. From that moment, it was like, hey, I want to be a fighter pilot. That's all I want to do. Um, Obviously, I didn't become a fighter pilot, but I am a pilot. And then, entrepreneurship and the high pace and the high stakes and risks that come with it are kind of in parallel, which I found was very interesting. Um, but we got a phone call from one of the GCs that we work with, because we do low volt work as well. Part of what the merger acquiesced, our business acquiesced, was low volt work. And we got a call to do some AV work at Luke Air Force Base.
Hmm.
And so that was wild. And it was like, oh yeah, here's just, at first I thought, oh, it's probably gonna be just a couple grand worth of work, pulling some cables, doing that. And it ended up being, you know, pretty substantial, I guess, for what we do in that realm or that scope. And it was like 22 grand. And then they called back and they love the quote so much. They're like, actually, we're gonna just have you guys do the rest of this. We're gonna increase the scope. We want you guys to handle this, and you know, upwards of 30K at Luke Air Force Base.
Hmm.
So that was absolutely wild to kind of see some of those parallels kind of come into. Um, we got a referral, word of mouth, of a friend's business who needed some AV and some security work done. So I go out to meet them at their plant or whatever, and I have no idea what I'm walking into really. Um, I just got a phone number and they text me an address and like, come here. And I show up and it's this like steel manufacturing plant and it's absolutely ginormous. And I'm like, holy crap, this is freaking an incredible opportunity. So it was great to meet with them and to kind of put that in the logbook too and see that as a potential logged opportunity. Um, we had a couple of discussions pertaining to fractional CTO and actually rolling out that framework for them and being able to provide, since they're still kind of getting set up from an IT perspective. So definitely an opportunity came there. Um, I rolled out Claude for two different organizations. AI literacy, non-negotiable. Literally built the whole, reverse prompting template for them to follow, specific to what both organizations were looking at, and held their hand, walked them through it, showed them how it works, and it's been wildly successful. It's been absolutely insane. We literally watched people who were taking 3-4 days to compare bids, put things together, and we watched that time frame walk down to about 2.5 minutes. So it's been incredible to be able to see that working in real time as well, and to be able to help some of these organizations out on that level. Um, Dan talks about all the time. We talk about the camcorder method for basically getting your SOPs built, and we jumped right in headfirst with Scribe. Scribe's been great. We've been leveraging that quite a bit, and that's been amazing to be able to get all of these things put together, not just for our organization, but for other people's organizations as well. And it's great because now, as one of the specific examples was onboarding, providing all of those, onboarding SOPs for organizations and showing them how to do it, build it, see it, and then watch it get run in real time to where they no longer have to handhold and spend 5-6 hours of that person's day. We can go right back to the buyback principle where, they're actually off to the races right when they come in, versus somebody taking, too much time out of their day and spending it on the, $20 an hour tasks where they need to actually be somewhere else. So great example of that. Did a couple other small tweaks there. Delegated ticket ownership. This one's been like a hard one for me. I like live in our queue. I'm like always thinking about, hey, we got to make sure that we're staying on customer service. We're getting these tickets smashed out. Most organizations on an MSP level, their agreements typically include, we'll have an hour response time. We'll resolve non-critical issues within 24 hours. Critical issues will be resolved within 3 hours, whatever the scope pretty much determines. And the way that we operate is a little different than that. Like when things come in, obviously we prioritize where we need to, but we're trying to have response times within minutes.
Wow.
Right now we're 5 minutes. We have a response out to you. We have a tech assigned. We have active ticket resolution going on, like behind the scenes, even as somebody, probably before most people have even checked that they've gotten an email back. And so we're really trying to, maintain that. But for me to let go of that is, again, is one of those buyback principles of, hey, you're spending a lot of time in here. You have somebody who's absolutely perfectly capable of doing this. And so to give that to him and basically get his response of hell yeah was fantastic. Like he taking the complete ownership and running with it. And he's just been absolutely killing it since then.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So 16 consecutive days of the 5 non-negotiables. And for everyone who's watching who doesn't know, those 5 non-negotiables, which, we track all of them every day, are 3 stories, three Instagram stories that show your face talking to the camera. 45 minutes of movement exercise. I just 45-minute workout for me. 10 pages of a nonfiction book every single day. Goal review. And this one's been huge. Reviewing the goals that I've set for myself down the board 5 times a day, or actually 3 times a day for those. But a lot of the times I find myself getting caught, like even after my 3, it's like it's probably more like 6 or 7 that I'm literally sitting there and visualizing and seeing things, even though I may not necessarily have my handy dandy notebook on me. And then opens. So sending out 5 opens, whether it's text message, whether it's a phone call, whether it's an Instagram message, Facebook message, whatever the medium is, doesn't matter, but sending out 5 opens into the world, reaching out to people. Hey, how are you? What's going on? What's new in your life? And really trying to deepen those connected or the roots, so to speak, of your connection to your network. One of the things and common themes that you'll hear a lot is that your network is your net worth. And the more people that we can reach out to and that we can actually try to help is going to help expand our network, which in turn will help expand the net worth. So those are the 5 daily non-negotiables. And after 16 consecutive days of that, leveraging the Dan AI platform, it has been it's been mind blowing to go back and think about how much progress has been made just in just in such a short period of time. Um, and it's incredible. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like oh gosh, what would you call it? Like a doubting Thomas, I guess, if you will. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of speculative about this. I don't know if this is going to work. And but I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm being pulled to this. I'm being drawn to this. There's a reason for this, and this is kind of scary. But I'm gonna dive into it because I feel pulled to this. Like there's something here that carries a lot more weight than even what I can comprehend or understand. And
Mm.
I feel like I look back and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And again, that's just the past 16 days. So, um, and even thinking about what led to those 16 days was years and years and years of perseverance and growth and everything else that kind of goes with it. So it's been,
Mm.
it's been an incredible journey. Just super blessed to have had the opportunity to go on it.
Well, David, thank you for coming on the show. It was awesome to hear about all the things that you have implemented and changed due to the Dan Martell stuff. If people are interested and want to learn more about what you do, where can they go?
They can head over to ltsolutions.net. We have a little form there they can fill out, and we're always happy to help anybody out and take a look. You can also find me on the IG, and I will gladly give my handle here. Um, it's David McKernan, DavidMcKernan. You can find me on Instagram. You can follow me there. I'm there three times a day, checking in with everybody.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
yeah, you got it, man. Thanks for having me.